What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Skews Day to you. It's December 17th, 2024. I'm Trey, and that there is not Mark. You may have already ascertained. You know him. You love him. It's the senior Georgia correspondent, longtime denizen of the Skew universe, and far and away most frequent fill-in co-host. It's Mr. Corey Ryan Forrester. Mark ain't here. Corey is. How you doing, Corey?
I'm good, buddy. Yeah, I like to feel like I'm the Jay Leno to your Johnny Carson. You know what I mean?
On
Like
this
other
show.
people have filled in, but I do it the most, and also
Yeah.
disappoint the most people, and am the most
Yeah.
divisive, and have a huge
Well, I
chin
feel
and
like
weird hair.
I'm the more, I'm more like the Ed McMahon of this particular show. Every now and then I just go, all right.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, okay. But
Oh.
no, just so everybody knows, Mark is he left today to parts unknown. I mean, we know where they are. He's going to do family Christmas stuff. So he's gone. He's already on the road already. He won't be back until 2025. That's not that weird because a public service announcement, and I'll repeat this at least one, maybe two more times. Because of the fact that the next two Tuesdays are going to be Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, this right here is the last Skews of 2024, which means Corey is closing out the calendar year with us, and it's a fun topic too. It's going to be all right. But how do you think that? Oh, look at that! You got some.
I
Is
got
that bubbly?
champagne.
What is that?
It's bubbly
Nice.
just for the occasion because I knew this would happen. And by the way, shout out to a mutual friend and friend of the show, Kim Casado, sent me this from a nice winery in the Napa Valley, and I knew this would be the last one. As you can see, I've done already popped it, and I put it in my Braves World Series glass. So congrats to us. End of the
I can
year.
think of no more appropriate receptacle, but I always like to think of Mark on like holiday like this because he's like with his wife and doing family stuff. And I'm actually not sure if they're with his family or her family or they're doing both a split over the next few days. But it's like we were just talking right before the show started about how Mark don't suffer fools or suffer
Ooh.
anything at all.
Mm-mm.
But I know for a fact that at least his in-laws, they don't, it's not like they're on the same page as Mark with everything.
No.
Frankly, who is? Right. So
Right.
it's just like, it's always funny to me like, I want to know, do you think, as another person who knows Mark, and I think it'd be funny for our viewers to think about them knowing Mark as well. Do you think that you think he reins it in when he's with his in-laws and stuff, or do you think he's just as full Mark as he is with every other person he ever encounters?
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's hard for me to imagine because, as you pointed out, the only thing Mark suffers is from depression. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly. Yes.
it's like
Yeah.
I bet you he does, and I bet you he does like go into every single one. Like, all right, it's not going to be like last year. I think that he like probably has that thought, and then he's like, but surely, and then someone says something that's just too dumb, and he can't. It's
Exactly. That's
just,
what I
and
always.
I get it. I get it too. Like, there's certain things I can't suffer. Like, it used to be political, and I've since been like, I just want to still love my family.
Uh-huh.
But if one of them like misquoted a Mel Brooks movie and tried to tell me that they were right and I was wrong, I'd flip the table. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and Mark's that
And
way with current events.
And we've shared pictures on the show before. It's been a long time, but you've also seen them because they were in our group chat. Pictures of Mark on holiday in the summertime when they go to like visit her family in Florida on the beach. And it's Mark who's shredded, and everybody knows that. So he's shirtless with a six pack and tan and looking good, standing in front of the vastness of the ocean, right? But his face is just pure misery, just like no joy at
Yeah.
all. And in my head, that's because right off camera is his
Yeah.
father-in-law who's been bitching about Mexicans for 48 straight
Right.
hours or whatever it is. And Mark has just been biting his tongue that whole time.
Yeah, just
But I don't know.
whittling a Trump paperweight just slightly off to the side.
Yes.
Just yeah.
Yeah, but it hits for me to imagine Mark in places of
Miserable.
joy and entertainment and fun. Yes, right. And it's funny because it's like I know that I'm one of those guys for a lot of people who know
Big
my
time.
friends too. But it's like, but Mark is like my me, if that
Yes,
makes
he
sense.
is. He's your you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You're my me to my family, and he's your you. So he's like my grand
Yes.
me, you know.
Yes. Yes. Let's continue this thread. Let's talk about who's who is which is what. This is the type of
Yeah, I
thing that
don't
we do a lot on our other show, by the way. Putting on there is our sister show, which you should listen to, which me and this feller host. It's all about fancy people stuff. And we get into there'll be sometimes where it's like 6 minutes into a thing. I'm like, have we made any sense to a regular person who's listening to what we're saying? And it's like, me, I know we know what we're talking about. You're like, yeah, I'm your you, he's your him. Yeah, his mama's my mom, my grandmama, and that's how we all be.
Just so lost in the recesses.
And everybody at home is just like, what the fuck are they talking about? If you're wondering what the fuck we're talking about, we're gonna it's not gonna make much more sense probably, because you know what it is. It's the drone stuff. But before we get to that, producer Matt is still with us. He's back there. He's here on the holidays doing his thing for this final show of 2024. This is Weekly Skews. I want to remind y'all before we continue, of course, a few things. If you'd like to see me do stand-up comedy live and in person, and of course you should want to do that, go to TreyCrowder.com. Check out my upcoming tour dates. I'll be in Chicago, Illinois this weekend, closing out this year. And then in 2025, we got a ton of dates already and adding more every day. Go to TreyCrowder.com. Also, if you enjoy this program and would like to show your support, you can do so by signing up on Patreon. You go to weeklyskews.com/more, or you can just go on Patreon and search for my name. Either way works. $5 a month gets you access to 2 full-length bonus episodes. We do Q&As. We cover things that happen in between the shows. It's just this show, but more of it. So if you like this show, get some more of it and support the show in the process. Sign up on Patreon. Corey, before we continue, since you're here, I wanted to ask if you wanted to, tell the people anything you'd like them to know, since I just did
Sure.
it. If you got any plugs you want to make?
Sure. Since this is live, I can actually do this weekend. If you're in Chattanooga, Tennessee, or the surrounding area, December 20th through the 21st, I'm at the Comedy Catch in Chattanooga, Tennessee, headlining all the Home for the Holiday show. You can go to thecomedycatch.com and grab those tickets. Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. And also, please listen to Putting on Airs, because that is, not only, it's hard. You've got all your babies, all your podcasts that you do. You don't want to pick favorites, but, I like screwing around and talking about fancy things. And we just had, for those of you listening that they're like, I've been meaning to check that out, but I need a bigger reason. If you follow Twitter, if you're at all on Twitter and you follow at Die Workwear, aka the men's wear feller on Twitter, Derek Guy, and he hits for you, because he hits for me, and it seems like everybody. That was our most recent guest, and that episode is very popular. And he schooled me and Trey on some men's fashion, even though, we fucking, what do we need?
Clearly, we got it killed. Yeah, right.
So
Camo
Putting on Airs. Listen to it wherever you get your podcast, or watch it on our YouTube at watchpoa.com. Other than that, let's, aliens.
Yeah, I was going to say Putting on Airs. I love it because that's where I can go to really dumb it up. But then I realize, everybody watching is like, that's where you dumb it up? What do you do here every week? Because that's how
you're
Mark
dumb,
makes
because
me look.
Smart.
Exactly. I know.
Putting on Airs, you're the smart one, but you dumb.
But the whole show is
we
dumb.
both are dumb. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, but it's dumb in a fun way. Dumb is almost always fun, and I feel like, unless they're like, running the government or anything. But anyway, yes, as for the show tonight, as we already mentioned up top, what else we're going to talk about? It's what the whole world has talked about. It's captivated the nation. The drone panic on the East Coast and spreading throughout these continental United States. People, is it aliens? Is it our military? Is it someone else's military? Is it mass hysteria? Who knows? But me and Cho will surely determine the absolute and irrefutable answer by the end of this hour. But before we get to that, but on the same subject, we begin always, Matt, with the Daily Dumbass graphic, please. Tonight's DD, the government for not admitting that the New Jersey drones are UFOs who want to hit Trump's golf course with photon torpedoes. This is Trump addressing the issue.
Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey and ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows, and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, they happen to be over Bedminster,
Will you
Want to
shoot
know
them
the
down?
truth?
Received
They're very,
intelligent briefing.
they're
shoot
very,
them down?
they're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster.
Have you been-
I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
Have you been
Do you have
getting
any
regular
reason to think
intelligence
they're a
briefings?
threat?
All right. So, look, I gotta be honest. This ain't gonna hit for this audience, for our audience or whatever. But I'm just gonna keep it real here. That is about as much as Trump has ever hit for me. Is in that
And been
scenario
saying.
right there, and been saying. That's what I mean by that. Is him being like that is the most that I've ever seen Trump not be Trumpy, and it's while
Right.
talking about the potential of aliens or whatever. But it's like, frankly, everywhere he said it was like he's like the government knows, they know who it is, they know where it is. Like I believe that.
Yeah,
I
I do too.
believe
Yeah.
believe that is true, but it's I know people, because especially from the Daily Dumbass segment, people come to expect a certain thing when we do a Trump clip, and that clip didn't really deliver, in my opinion. But don't worry, fret not, he still came through in the clutch, because here is the other major thing that Trump had to say / contribute to the drone conversation. It was this picture that he posted on True Social. Matt, if you can pull this picture up. So this is a nice contrast to what we just heard. Yes, now that's more like it, Joe.
I mean, he's
That
gone
right
2
there.
for 2. Really, if you
Absolutely.
think about it, like
Yes, yeah,
that
still
don't not
spitting.
good.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you're only listening, he posted on True Social an AI generated image of drones delivering bag upon bag of McDonald's to Christie, who is shoveling hamburgers into his face in front of those. And it's like, this is the type of thing that this is what Trump brings to the table in American discourse.
sure.
Is this type of picture. It's like, dude, we've talked about it before, but it's like, because like, Chris Christie, I know he's like a relatively sane Republican now or whatever, but he's also like, he still sucks too. And it's always been
He
one of my
don't
favorite
hit.
things I've said for years. The one thing that unequivocally does genuinely super hit about Donald Trump for me is when he goes after other
Yeah.
Republicans and conservatives
that's
like
right.
this, like especially out of nowhere, because it's just like they're just not equipped to play that same game. You know
No.
what I mean? Like they're just not. And this is the type
They-
of thing, because fuck Chris Christie, like you said, and it's like seeing the president-elect post this picture of him is funny to me. We'll get back to the UFOs in a minute, but what do you think about this right here?
Oh, I think you're 100% correct. And like often, and I don't know if this is on purpose or if it's just like, a symptom of who Trump is, but like a lot of times he'll go after them for things that like they kind of can't come back at Trump for, because it's just not true. Like he'll just be like, somehow mention Ted Cruz, and they'll lay this whole thing out. Ted Cruz said this about you and your campaign and blah, 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 expecting Trump to give this huge, complicated answer. And he'll just go, well, his wife's a dog. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, that's it. Like he'll just call his wife a dog. And like Ted Cruz
Right.
can't respond to that because like, I don't like Melania, but like she hot, like she was a model. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And also
he
on
knows
top of
where
that,
he's got it.
we all hate Ted Cruz so much. He's
We're not
he's a
mad.
worm. He sucks. And so when he gets emasculated like that, because Ted Cruz not
right.
only can't come back at that, but he later bends over. He like
Oh, yeah.
kisses the ring for the guy that called his wife a dog to his face, which is like, you ain't no man if you do that. Like, I know that
And
Trump
said his
don't-
dad was the Zodiac killer.
right. Trump don't hit at all, but seeing that happen to people like Ted Cruz does hit for me, even if it is coming for Donald Trump.
Of
So I guess
course.
that's the one public service that I feel like he does provide is that
Dude,
he keeps
that
those
whole
dudes in
tirade-
their place a little bit.
yeah, man. Like dude, the Democrats haven't shit on John Bolton the way that Donald Trump has. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like we just because like Democrats, like they just want to talk about like fundamentally how people are, what they've done wrong in politics. Like, well, John Bolton, they'll use the word disconcerting a lot and in their like hardcore takedown. And Trump's just like, look, he's got water on his brain. I don't know what to tell you.
He's like, of all the pieces of shit I've ever worked with in my life, I have never seen a lazier, more useless, empty-headed dumbass than John fucking Bolton. And like, he'll just post that out of nowhere, just on a Sunday afternoon, apropos of nothing.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious.
I've said,
But going back to go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, just like if he wasn't unfortunately the leader of the free world and also a fascist racist. Like if this is all he
Right.
ever did,
Which he is, yes.
which he absolutely is. I'm not trying to
Right.
humanize him in any way. But if this is all he did, like, dude, he would rule for me. I would love him.
So going back to the video itself of him commenting on the drone situation, I saw people on, so just so y'all know, before we continue further into the subject, and you're not going to be surprised to hear this, most of my information is coming from Reddit, and not just Reddit, but various like UFO specific subreddits. And as you can imagine, people on there are very level-headed, very cogent, not at all reactionary or insane in any of their takes. So that's where I'm getting a lot of my information from. But I saw a lot of people on Reddit responding to Trump's statement because he is the incoming president. It's like, what does he have to say about this? And this is what he had to say about it. And I saw a lot of people on Reddit saying like, you know why this terrifies me? Or like, this right here has shaken me to my core more than anything else about this drone stuff. And that's because Trump isn't being Trumpy about this.
Right.
They were like
Trump.
Weird. Like Trump is just being like a regular guy in this video. Like he's not he even calls Joe Biden our president. Like people pointed that out. He didn't.
Oh,
wow. He was like, you know, I don't know, maybe somebody go wake up Sleepy Joe from his nap and see why he's letting the aliens take over the East Coast like that. He's like, he didn't do none of that. He's being serious and just like a regular person. And that terrifies me. And I'm just wondering what your reaction to that is. Does it terrify you? Because it didn't really terrify me. But what do you think about that take on that?
Now that you mentioned the Sleepy Joe part and how he just said our president, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, it's almost like he's done campaigning for good because technically he is. And maybe this actually is who Trump is. Like this is more actually who Trump is. In the past 8 years has been Trump saying all the crazy shit that he needs to say in order to get elected. And now he can drop the character. By the way, I'm in no way, again, saying that Trump is a normal person because fascist dictators are not normal, but like he wasn't on the Apprentice. He was not like how he's been for the past 8 years. And in old interviews, he was not like that. So maybe he's just dropping the whole, like he don't have to say Sleepy Joe. He don't have to do all that because it's like he doesn't have to campaign no more.
I think that's part of it. A lot of people pointed out, they were like, look, most of us, what we see of Trump is like his highlights or lowlights, depending on where in the spectrum you're on. And it's like, so of course that's him being as Trumpy as possible, but he probably has many boring or relatively boring moments like that all the time. But like, I think you're onto something with the not campaigning thing, but my main thing with it is I don't get being alarmed by that because to me, if Trump knew or had any worry or indication that this was like a potentially super horrific thing,
right,
I think he would be putting as much blame on everybody else as he possibly could. I think he'd be going out of his way. Exactly. Yeah. I think he'd be going out of his way to be like, what is Joe Biden doing? Where's Joe Biden at on this? He's fucking like, I think if he was scared about it, because that's what I saw people saying. They're like, he never acts like
one of the aliens.
I mean, if anybody could be, and actually he's one of the most American humans anyway, that's existed in recent years. But yeah, like I saw a lot of people saying like, he don't act like this ever, man. This means he's scared. And I was like, I don't think it means that. I feel like if he was scared, he would be more him than ever. Like, I think he'd be deflecting as much blame as possible. To me, the fact it's not just Trump, but also it's like we were talking earlier today on Well Read when we recorded it with Drew about how like so far billionaires are not evacuating the East Coast. They're not loading up on their helicopters and getting the fuck out. They don't, the people who would know shit because they are the ones who actually run our society, or they don't seem to be terrified. Right. And that's part of what makes me feel better about it. Or what?
Or those are all the aliens.
Or they're all the aliens. Yeah. Well, dude, if that's what's happening, they've got a complete 100% victory already. They can go ahead and just knock the pieces over. Like, I mean, if all those people are the aliens, then like, yeah, well, dude, y'all had the planet for fucking, 100 years or more ever. You've had it forever. So just
You ever see how these pictures of Elon Musk that they'll put out of like, oh, he built weird, you know, like he'll be on his boat and his belly, he's got a belly on him, but it is shaped like no belly I've ever seen before. It's always reminded me of Edgar from Men in Black, Vincent D'Onofrio's character, who was famously a large alien bug wearing a human suit.
And an Edgar
And
in a suit,
in
in a suit,
an
in an Edgar
Edgar,
suit. He was in an Edgar
which
suit. Yeah.
by the way, not to derail, but one of the most underrated performances by a human being ever. I fully 100% believed when I was a child that Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh,
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
He's just one of the goats, dog.
It's just prosthetics and him going, I'm a bug in here. Like
between like that and
Kingpin.
Private Pile and Kingpin and like The Cell with Jennifer Lopez and something that's like
crazy.
He's nuts. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, well, anyways, so between that, how Elon be looking, like obviously there's always been the whole like these billionaires are shape-shifting, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But by the way, for the first time ever, I saw what Peter Thiel looked like the other day. Like I've heard about him for a long time, but I've never seen him. I've seen him on CNN talking about Louis Magnolia. And I was like, this is what this dude looks like. And it looked like he'd had like 900 chemical pills. And I know he's not that old and he couldn't even like get a word out and stuff. And I was like, there's something off about this guy. And now I'm looking at it all and like Mitch McConnell be freezing. You know what I mean? Nancy Pelosi falling out when she hears shit about stocks or whatever. Like, I don't know, man. It just, to me, it could be like, this is the current shift of aliens. And now the next shift is about to take over and these got to go home. You know what I mean?
Where your head's at. Yes, maybe the drones are bringing it. Yeah, right. Yeah, the Mitch McConnell and Peter Thiel in our ruling class, they've been aliens. They're starting to wear out and malfunctions. Now we got to ship in the next shift of alien overlords. It's possible. So yeah, look. Mark, it's fun. Mark entitled it before he left. Mark entitled this episode and this segment "The Medieval Peasant Drone Panic," which is hilarious to me because I knew this would happen. Me and you've already gone beyond medieval peasants in terms of our dumbassery about this subject. So, like when Mark listens back to this episode, which I think he does, he's going to be just infuriated the whole time, which it's for me to think about. Because as we get into it, so let me set up a few things for you guys. Already know. I mean, if you're not living under a rock, you know the general situation is a large number of mysterious drones have been reported flying over parts of New Jersey and also the East Coast, and it keeps spreading. Today, I think there were reports out of Texas, right? So it's like spreading, so all around this, or becoming all around
where all the dumbasses are,
right? And these drones are like, people say they're flying in formation. They're flying at night in places they shouldn't be. A military base got shut down. An airport got briefly shut down. This right here that Matt's showing is a picture from the Associated Press, like that someone posted. This is what they're saying. And it's like, I mean, it is wild looking. And these reports just continue to compound. Also, like, as it became a story, the FBI and the government came out and their initial response was like, yeah, we don't know what it is, but it is fine though, which weirdly didn't put anyone at ease, that response. And now there just keeps being more and more of it. So people are wondering, like, what is this? What is happening? And so since Mark is not here and this would not hit for him that I'm about to do this, but I'm going to speak on his behalf and do my very best to tell y'all up top before me and Cho go off the deep end, tell y'all up top what I believe Mark's general stance on this whole thing is, which is that he comes down on the side of mass hysteria. He thinks that this is similar to like the Chinese weather balloon panic, or like it's not founded in any kind of actual reality. There's nothing really to be worried about. That there are 800,000 plus drones in the U.S., registered drones. People be droning. Somebody sees a drone. Someone else freaks out about it. They send their drone to go find a drone. Now there's another drone in the sky. Someone gets a video of that drone, and now you got this whole area is just lousy with drones. On top of that, the night sky is actually filled with the night sky is just lousy with all kinds of lights and stuff that may blinking or not. The night sky is wild.
It is.
Because of these stories, people are paying attention to the night sky when they normally don't, and they're seeing things moving around, and they're like, that's weird alien drone shit, when really it's not. Some of these sightings that have been reported have been confirmed to be just pictures or videos of airliners, like fucking a Delta flight from London to New York, in the distance coming in on approach, and it, the way it lines up, it looks like it's drones when it's not. That's been proven to be the case for some of these, and that's another one. Pretty prominent Republican politician, the former governor of Maryland, he posted a video of his own drone sighting, Larry Hogan, and it has since been proven to be just a video of the constellation of Orion. So it literally is just stars in the sky.
His name is Larry Hogan.
Larry Hogan. Yeah,
that was
Hulk's
Hulk's
brother.
It was Hulk's.
Really? Because that sounds like a made up brother of Hulk Hogan.
Larry Hogan. It was a made up brother of Hulk Hogan, but they ran it as a gimmick in WWE where they pretended that they were brothers, like in work. You know what I mean? And the dude was Larry Hogan, and it's just, that's hilarious to me.
Larry is the most perfect like fake brother name you can come up with. Like if you come up with a fake brother for you, you know, it's like Larry Forrester. It just feels like the go-to to me is Larry. So anyway, no, this is an actual governor, and again, a fairly well respected one, I believe, governor of Maryland. Who, and if you watch the video, it does look weird, but it's not actually weird. It's literally just people are paying attention to the sky and being like, "Shit be blanking. What is that?"
And there's satellites, bro, too.
It's normal stuff. And that's not just Mark's position. That is the official White House position, by the way. They put out their official position yesterday. Right. So, but they said that like so many of these reported sightings are just misidentified, totally normal things like constellations, far off airplanes, like licensed drones that are allowed to be there, hobbyist drones, stuff that isn't weird, but people don't understand that it's not weird. So that's, if I could speak for Mark, that is what I believe Mark's position on this whole thing is. And furthermore, that we are a lost and irretrievably stupid society because of the fact that we do not realize that. That is what I think Mark would say in not so many words if he were here. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, Cho, me and you, I mean, it's clearly aliens, right? Aliens are here.
What I say to Mark is this.
Let's talk about
it. He don't hit. Look, two things can be true. Two things. This is what I hate about Mark and society in general. Okay. Because Mark is very much typical in this fashion, is that people don't understand that two things can be true. Sure. Are there a lot of these things that people are misrepresenting as alien drones? Absolutely, because I agree with all that stuff. Like my friends, you know, if we look at the same sky, but where I clearly see a satellite, they're like, that is a government drone over my house. And I'm like, why would a government drone be over your house? Like, you put all your business on Facebook. Nobody has to spend Pentagon fucking money to figure out what you're doing, right? Your location is on your phone. Every time you go to Golden Corral with some different hoe, you tweet about it. Shut the fuck up. So that can be true. But at the same time, I cannot state this any more clearly. It is aliens.
Absolutely. Yes. And for a lot of people watching right now that saw the video I posted today, they're like, Trey's talking out of both sides of his mouth because that's not like him. Because in the video I made today, I said it probably most likely was mass hysteria and nothing really was going on. And now I'm saying, no, it's clearly aliens. You know, couple of things. Number one, like, it's just you want to cover all your bases, right? Or, you know, it could be one, it could be the other, whatever. But also more importantly, earlier today, I had been talking to Mark. And since I put that video out, I've been reading on Reddit for 4 straight hours. And now I'm convinced that it is alien. No, look, we're being a little tongue in cheek here, obviously. But people that have been watching the show for a long time know, because, dude, we're living in a golden age of alien stuff. We've covered aliens on this like actual real world political podcast we have. Aliens have come up multiple times in the past few years because Congress be talking about them and stuff.
Right.
And Mark hates it every time because I'm an idiot and aliens hit for me. And he has to roll his eyes out of the back of his head and become upset when I start talking about how it could be aliens, you know? So for me, basically where I fall is I would like to believe that it is aliens. And also further, don't know if y'all like this, it would hit for me if it was aliens.
Uh-huh.
Because most things don't end up hitting for me,
Yes.
Gun to my head, my money is on. I don't think this will amount to anything in the long run, and it will be just another thing like the Chinese weather balloon incident. And it'll just go away, and we won't get nothing out of it. That's what I. If I had to bet my house, that's what I would bet it on happening.
You're also a terrible bettor.
That's true too. That is true. That's a good point. I almost never win my bets the reason I would make that bet is because I want it to be the other way.
We'll have none of that.
The universe is not going to allow that to happen. Now, you might ask, why would you want it to be aliens? I could tell you there's a few reasons. There's a ton of, first of all, I've always disputed the notion that people that automatically assume that if aliens show up, it will be bad. And I know the most common analogy, which I think is mostly originally attributed to Stephen Hawking, I believe, is like, yeah, ask the Native Americans how it was when the technologically advanced society showed up to their world, back in the day. It's like, that's what happens.
Right.
I've always disputed that because I've always thought that as a society advances, I've always thought Stephen Hawking was an idiot who should listen to me. I've always thought that. But I've always thought that as societies advance, they don't just advance technologically, they advance like morally and ethically and philosophically and all that, empathetically. That also happens, right? And so I don't take it for granted that a society that could be intergalactically spacefaring would automatically be that ruthless or lacking in empathy. In fact, I think you could argue that it could be the opposite. They could be a very, like I said, morally advanced society too. That's part of the reason that it would hit for me if aliens show up. Another reason, though, me and you were talking about this before the show started or earlier today on Well Read, I can't remember. Even if they're not, I'm still kind of on board at this point.
Me too. Wipe us out, dog. Come on.
I'm about ready for the aliens to show.
No more bills.
Give them their shot at it. Why not? Like
we suck.
How much more at it. Right. How much more could they run this thing into the ground
as long as
than we are already doing? Like, let them take a shot. I'm fine.
Yeah, man. I want them to show up for a myriad of reasons, and one you've just touched on, which is like, let it just be over. You know what I mean? Like, as long as they wipe us out all at the same time in like one flash and don't like put us into internment camps or whatever, like that hits for me. That's fine. But also, like, to me, I want to hear all of my religious friends just lose their goddamn mind when some purple-headed aliens show up and try to explain to me what this going on.
That is great. See, that's the type of thing, because you grew up in the church and I did not. That you think about that I don't, but that really hits for me. That is a great point. Watching the humanities religions have to react in real time to fucking first contact with an objectively intelligent alien race, like, that shit would be wild, dog.
They'll call them demons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. They will. They will just call them demons.
But I'm saying they'll end up being the reason that the aliens turn on us, because they'll show up like, hey, guys, what's going on? We're here to party. And they'll be like, demons, and then they'll blast us all. My fear is that, like, what if they're, like, real big? You know what I mean? Like we think of them, I think of as like humanoids. You know what I mean? Like, what if they're giants?
Like, what if they just whoop my ass?
No.
What if they just whoop anybody's ass? They just walk into a bar and whoop anybody's ass. What if an alien could do that? Have you thought about that? That wouldn't be it.
It's like, that's hilarious.
Who cares how big they are if they have fucking tractor beams and fucking rail guns and shit?
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is a really, really big alien could still be like
a celestial and
a big
Marvel.
Because like even if I'm not talking about an alien, like in this situation, these aliens don't have any problem with us either. It's just that they're so big that it's like, you remember the scene in Avengers when Ronan, or somebody was talking to Ronan or whatever, or no, Loki, and they were like, I have no quarrel with you. And he's like, well, an ant has no quarrel with a boot. You know what I mean? Like, what if they're so big that they don't even notice us?
Now, see, I actually share that completely. First of all, at first it was hilarious to me because I thought you were just like, now see me, anytime a new antagonist shows up, I ask the question, well, how big a boy are they? That's what I ask. Right? So that's what I need to know about these aliens, right? That's what I thought you were saying at first, like physically. But no, what you just said, I've also, that's always been my caveat too, and I'm not just saying that. In my Patreon video I did this week, also on this subject. This is all I've talked about for 72 hours.
Yeah,
But
why
anyway,
wouldn't you? Let's
in the
just do a
Patreon
new
video I did
podcast
about
on
it
aliens.
this week on this subject, I said the same thing. My caveat to that whole, like, you evolve philosophically and empathetically and all this stuff too. My caveat to that has always been, now look, if they are so far ahead of us that we are basically ants to them,
Right.
then yeah, that's a problem. I hear you. Because
Yeah.
human beings like respect ants and what they can do and how wild they are. But we will knock their whole shit out to put a fucking play set in your backyard without thinking twice about it.
Right,
So
that's what I'm saying.
no, I'm 100% with you on that. I've always thought about that too, because I agree that is a concern.
But again, at least then we're just like thrown astray, you know, and then we're dead, and then
yes, but
in my dying words to my mom, I'll go, "I told you Jesus wasn't real, bitch." You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, but see, here's the thing. Here's the new hotness when it comes to like I said, I don't know if it's new, but here's the big brain move, right? Is, see, like normally when it comes to conspiracy theorists, you know, the big brain move with aliens is like, yeah, they're out there and the government knows it. They're just lying to us. They're not telling us that they are there, right? So keeping that in mind, there's a thing called Project Blue Beam, which is a famous amongst lunatics conspiracy theorist that I think originated in the mid-90s. And recently, Roseanne Barr, famous Trump supporter and legendary comedian Roseanne Barr, has supported publicly on Twitter, this is Project Blue Beam. You know who else has said that? Alex Jones has said situation. This could be Project Blue Beam, right? And it's by the way, as a side note, this is why it just don't hit for me so much being into it, because I love alien talk and I love it. And every time, this is who you're with. Like, it's you, Alex Jones, and Roseanne Barr. And it's like, dude. Like, there should be some kind of separation between, know, actual lunatics and people like me and Corey who just believe that, you know, there's an intergalactic civil war going on that we're caught in the middle of. Yeah, right. Yeah. We don't believe crazy shit.
Yeah, this is how I feel about Hitler being back, because I love to read about Hitler and I'm like obsessed with Hitler, but like not in that. I know he don't hit, you know what I mean? But now I can't go to the store and buy a Hitler book without having to give some sort of disclaimer, like, excuse me, okay, listen,
it is the same.
Okay, he don't hit for me. I'm into it, you know.
You're 100% right. They are the exact same thing. Being an alien enthusiast and being really into World War II, both things
it's weird right now.
Lump you into some unfavorable groups that you don't want to be a part of, unless you love all that and it all hits for you. Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
but no, I'm saying.
So having said that, Roseanne Barr, Alex Jones, and other conspiracy theorists have been saying that we're living it. Project Blue Beam, it's here. It's what's happening. So here is what the conspiracy is for Project Blue Beam. It's that the federal government is going to do a false flag alien attack, right? Using holograms and drones and lasers and all this advanced technology. They're going to fake an alien apocalypse in order to be able to subjugate the world enough to unite it under a new world order, right? So obviously they've been working on the new world order for a long time. Everybody knows that. It goes back to Hollywood Hogan, I think, in the late 90s.
It does.
And they've been trying to get a new world, a one world government for a long time. And this is how they're going to do it: is they're going to fake an alien apocalypse to unite humanity and make it more palatable to humanity that a global authoritarian government is installed. Now, here's the thing. This is the thing with conspiracy theorists, right? And it's like, look, I know that I'm espousing some of them as an alien person, but still.
Was this on the subreddit R Itarded?
No, but listen, here's the thing. With a lot of times, because this is how Alex Jones, here's like the nefarious brilliance of Alex Jones, right? Which I don't think he is brilliant. He's a maniac, but like
what he does, he absolutely is brilliant.
because part of the reason why, and me and Mark have talked about this too. So if y'all are mad at me for saying this, Mark has said this too over the years, and I know y'all trust him. All the best of these conspiracy theorists and stuff they have, or conspiracy theories, and people like Alex Jones, there's some kernel of truth or sense making to what they say, right? So I feel like with this Project Bluebeam thing, like, how many people have said for years, I've heard stand-up bits about it, about how like all this country and this world is so divided, it's so fractured. We need something to bring us together as a people. You know what I think needs to happen? The aliens need to show up. Right. Like I've heard comics do bits about that. I've heard people say that it's like an alien. The good thing about an alien invasion is that mankind would finally put aside their differences and come together under one, you know, speak. Well, first I'm getting to that, but that's been an idea for a long time. So the notion that the government would exploit that by trying to do this makes enough sense if you're a basement dwelling tinfoil hat motherfucker to be like, this is what's happening. Right. But the thing is, these people vacillate between what I'm saying is, I guess I'm just trying to defend myself and you by saying that, just so y'all know, it's broke in the conspiracy theory world to continue to believe that the government is lying to us about the existence of, that they're lying to us that aliens don't exist. Right.
Right.
What the real bleeding edge lunatics believe is that they're lying to us and they don't exist. They're lying to us to make us think that they do exist. So that's how you know that me and Corey are actually smart.
Whoa.
But you're right though. You're right. That is the thing. I feel like COVID more than anything showed that to people where it's like, you know what? That ain't gonna work. Even if that is their plan, it ain't gonna work, dog.
Dude,
good luck.
As much as I love the movie, and it may at the time when Independence Day came out, everything about Independence Day, I was like, yes, this is exactly how that would go if this happened to us. Oh, it's great. It's great, but like it almost at every step is exactly how it wouldn't go if it really happened to us. Like having a president throwing his polo and pull up the collar and be like, get me in a plane. I was in the Air Force.
I'm a hero. Yeah. Dude, I had a stand-up bit about that part. Like, seriously, I loved that movie. One of my favorite movies as a kid. First time I rewatched it with my sons when they were old enough, few years ago, like during the Biden administration, right after Trump or whatever. That part fucked me up so much about Bill Pullman and his character.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I was like, oh my God, this is what we genuinely believe the president was like in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, we as a society found this believable that the president was this type of person.
Bush might have done it. Bush might have done it.
He was, I think he avoided military service, but he was like young.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
And his dad, he did do that.
He did.
Obviously, George H.W. Bush don't hit for me, but he got like shot down in World War II and was like a fighter pilot and stuff. Like he did that shit. So
I'm basing all of this on George Bush throwing one straight down the middle after 9/11. I just feel like he would want to. I think that outwardly he would talk more like Bill Pullman. Like he would be the guy that would be like, "We're gonna get through this, fucking aliens," you know.
Man, it's really hit for me how much I know we are pissing Mark off because we started out.
I'm doing half this because of that.
I know, right? The whole thing, like that first video was fucking Trump being done. We're like, you know what? He's spitting.
He kind of is.
Honestly, get right. Fucking 30 minutes later, we're like, who would have been great is George W. Bush. He's awesome. Which, by the way, no. Obviously we're just, but all right.
I just mean that Bush would have been better than the past two we've had, at least looking like a maverick, looking like one, not actually being one, but like being a believable bomber jacket type dude. You know what I mean?
But either way, Project Bluebeam, even if that is what was happening, which of course it is not. And I said this in the video I made today. It's funny of me to be like, it's funny of me to hear this and be like, that's so fucking ridiculous.
It's clearly
anyway, back to my theory that this is dueling factions of alien races who are competing for, it's like, I'm dumb too. But even if that is what was happening, which is clearly not, you're right. It would not have, because that conspiracy theory originates from the era of Independence Day, the movie, by
Right.
the way. People came
Right.
up with that when they still thought that's how humanity worked. Like, we all know now that it would not go that way, dude. We wouldn't
Bro.
band together for some kind of larger existential threat. We'd help them out. We'd
Let me
tear each
tell
other
you-
apart more, make their job easier. That's what we would do.
This might sound harsh, but the thing that has like truly united us over the past couple years that I've seen is super rich CEOs blowing up in a submarine or super rich CEOs getting shot by an Italian. So like more of all that, please. You know, you don't have to waste your time on holograms of aliens and stuff like that. Just MK Ultra a few spaghetti bros and have them go after the Koch brothers, and we'll all do whatever the fuck you want. We'll be happy as punch. Also, maybe just give us healthcare and cheap college and shit like that, and we'll also be cool with you. Like, you don't have to, put a little tiny dude inside of an old dude and make him eat pierogies and stuff and have Tommy Lee Jones give us a speech about Elvis and shit. Like, it don't have to be none of that. It's very simple. Just do these things. But like, nah.
It's always nah. It's never yeah.
It's always nah.
Alex Jones, he didn't just tweet his support of this theory. He retweeted an image of silent lights flying in the night sky. He said it's very compelling footage of these drones. And that, for example, was one piece of footage that was been proven to be a C-17 cargo plane landing. And the person who originated it just muted the audio. So it was never silent. They just like muted. They just like, all right, are you still there?
I can hear you.
Me?
Yeah, I can hear you, buddy.
Sorry.
You're good.
All right,
Keep going.
My camera went out. My bad.
That's okay.
They
the worst part about you.
I know. Yeah, you're right. So anyway, they muted the audio and tweeted at Alex Jones like, "Ain't this wild?" And he was like, "Damn, that is wild." And it was just a plane landing this whole time. So that's like more evidence for what Mark has been saying being the case. But people are, freaking out. We're lucky more of this hasn't happened. There was a guy in New Jersey who apparently saw one of these drones in the sky, and he got out his laser from his rifle scope, not the rifle itself, but just the laser from the scope, and went after the drone with it. And it caused it to go dark. And what actually he did was he temporarily blinded a FedEx pilot, is what happened. So he nearly made a FedEx plane crash.
This is what we'll do when the aliens show up, brother. Like, we're not a united people. We're a crazy people that just do insane things. And by the way, I'm glad you just brought that up, because this I want to say two things to you and have you respond, and I'll shut up for the rest of the show. Number one, if it is aliens, maybe don't try to shoot them with a shotgun. Number two, if Mark takes the position that, well, this is what the government says about the drones, and therefore I believe that, then why don't Mark also take the position that the government has said that it is aliens?
Okay, hold on. When did the government said that it is aliens?
I thought the government said it was aliens like a year or two ago, and we was all just like, nah.
No. There was whistleblowers from the government and shit who claimed it was alien, but nobody, like, the government has never officially said, "Hey, this is aliens." Also, Cho and Matt, I'm gonna hit refresh right quick, and I'll be right back. It should be fine. It should be fine. Cho, just tread water.
I got you, buddy. Also, I would like to point out here that Roseanne really looks like she's staring right through my soul. Like, I can't tell if she's like in mid wink or if she's doing like the Rock sort of eyebrow raise. But Roseanne, that's the stink eye Roseanne giving right there. Yeah, I believe if you looked up stink eye, and hey, there you are, buddy.
Yep, I'm back. Yes.
Sorry, I was treading water by talking about Roseanne's stink eye.
This is how much computers don't hit and just how dumb I am about them. I've had on and off computer issues my whole life, and I just recently spent like to my poor trailer ass, like a sizable amount of money on a computer. It's like, I can edit video on this thing, I can do whatever I need. Like, this is a real deal computer.
Just the gaming one?
To do all this shit with. Yes, and that too. And I just did that, and I just got it, and I can't get through a fucking podcast without it fucking up.
Do you remember earlier when your camera went out during Well Read? It was when we started talking about the government and aliens.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Coincidence.
Right. I've been on this for a while. Maybe they're just striking me down. That could be what it is. But anyway, yeah, so people are acting a fool, to get people like laser and stuff. And I think that's another big part of what Mark is concerned about is that we'll end up starting World War III because of like quadcopters in New Jersey or something, which I mean, I could see that happening.
I know, but I think we're close to one anyways, regardless. I don't think this is the thing to
Well,
worry
you
about.
might be right because look where some of America's leading conservative voices are taking this conversation. This is from noted thought leader Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business saying what she thinks about it all. Matt, if you got this, pull this up for us. It's not aliens, Joe. It's an even more vile enemy.
All those drones are either registered and they know exactly who they are and where they're coming from, or people are breaking the laws and going against our rules, and those drones should be shot down.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think they are breaking the law. I think we've had a vast proliferation of drones in the private sector, and I think they're not being controlled adequately because you're absolutely right. Drones over a certain size are supposed to be registered. I think they're not being registered. Again, the government has to come clean on what's the deal here, and they haven't. Hopefully this week they will.
I mean, do you believe they're from China surveilling America?
There it is.
They certainly could be. We've admitted, Maria, we've admitted tens of thousands of Chinese.
Dude, China's too slick to be this goddamn obvious, man.
I
don't
agree
know why
with
people
that,
don't
yeah.
understand that shit. Like these motherfuckers, like, listen, I'm not in any way saying that there's no reason to be skeptical or concerned with the fact that, how big China is, how many motherfuckers they have, how we owe them money, how they seem to be a more united. I'm not saying that you can't ever say some shit about China. I'm not going to go that far out and be like, it's all based in racism. All I'm saying is that I do believe the Chinese do that, but you don't know it because they're too good at it. That's my take.
They got it like that.
They got it like that.
But this is indicative of a larger thing. That's part of why Mark is worried we're going to fuck around and start a war over it, because it's like it's not just her. Also, Republican U.S. Representative Chris Smith, he was on Twitter. He said, the elusive maneuvering of these drones suggests a major military power sophistication that begs the question whether they have been deployed to test our capabilities, or worse, if they've been deployed by violent dictatorships, perhaps Russia, China, Iran, or even North Korea. So a New Jersey Republican representative has said that he believes that these, he said he cited high sources that he has, that these drones, that these drones are originating from an Iranian mothership.
Get the fuck out of here.
Located in the Atlantic. So I'm saying a lot of people are like not even taking the aliens angle. They're, doing their war hawk, ginning up conflict thing. We're like, no, this is Iran, this is North Korea, this is China. And guess what we need to do? Bomb the fucking shit out of all of them, because war hits so much for so many people. So there's a lot of Republicans doing that too, which I agree with Mark, obviously does not hit.
I'm aware that me and you've kind of been doing this for an hour, but to look at drones, in the sky and just completely secure in your thought, say, you know what this suggests, and then say something as matter of fact is quite insane. You know what I mean? Because like we've been doing this for an hour, but we're hitting. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What do you mean these drones suggest that? You don't know what the fuck they suggest. This is the first time this has ever really happened. It suggests to me, if I'm looking at them, what it would suggest to me is, oh shit, Amazon is making late night deliveries. That's what it would suggest to me.
Okay.
Right.
Well, because you just said that, because I was about to ask, as we get down nearing the finish line here, I was going to ask you to make a definitive, not stance, but just like force you to say what you actually think. Because as I said up top, at the end of the day, just so everybody knows, because we have been hitting, we've been joking around throughout the whole thing. Here's exactly what I actually think about it. Am I into aliens? Yes, I am.
Yes.
Would it hit for me if this was some alien shit going on? Yes, tentatively it would. What I actually believe, gun to my head, is happening here, I think at the end of the day, I think, as usual, that Mark is right. He's right. It's not aliens. It's also not an Iranian mothership. It's none of this stuff. It's going to be something that don't even really amount to nothing in the long run. And it's like
tech bros and
it's just drones and drone shit. It's a combination of trolls and YouTubers and all this stuff.
My dad has one.
I know, right?
My dad has one.
Yes. So that's
that
what I
could
think
get
is
up as
actually
high as
happening.
these. Yeah, dude. Like again,
But I'm
two
tired
things
of
can
being
be
played
true.
with by all these fucking dick teasing ass alien stories for fucking
Me
6
too.
years running now. I'm sick of
Yeah.
this shit.
Me
Whistleblowers
too.
and congressional hearings and fucking 60 Minutes pieces and these drone hysteria. It's like, stop it. Leave me alone. Either
Right.
stop bringing up aliens or let's see some motherfucking aliens because it's pissing
Right.
me off. I can't handle this shit anymore.
This is what I'd like to say is my definitive position, and also say something to Mark. These drones are, of course, not proof of alien life, but when these drones are found out not to have anything to do with aliens, that in itself is not proof that aliens don't otherwise exist. Two
That's
things
right.
can be true, right? Because much like the Chinese, I feel that aliens is also too slick to be,
Okay. Oh,
be,
yeah, you would
like
think so.
theirs would be invisible. Like
Drew-
theirs would be invisible, right?
Drew made that point on Well Read today because we talked about it with Drew too on Well Read, and he said
Right.
that he was like, "Dude, the videos I've seen of these drones is like, if that's aliens, I'm not
Right.
impressed." It's like you would,
Right.
because like you said, they would be invisible. They'd have cloaking technology.
They're
they'd
the
have all
ones
this shit.
that my dad has, and like I said, like, dude, I see drones in Chickamauga all the time because people, they don't really like some of the high end ones, like depending on what you want them to do, can cost a lot of money, but like relative to what you think they would cost, like what if I was a kid, I would have thought they cost. They don't cost
flat screen TV, right?
Yeah.
Like you had a flat screen TV, you're like, what is that, $8,000, right? And that,
no, a couple $100. Like,
A
if you
drone-
want a drone, you can have one. Because, dude, like hunters use them, like to look for deer.
Dude, my father-in-law, I had a bit in me, you, and Drew did 3 30-minute specials together at Zany's a few years ago. In my 30 minutes as part of that special, I have a bit about my father-in-law buying a drone for $5 at the $5 store, and then I immediately wrecked it into a tree and he climbed up there.
But you
and
got it up there
because he's a man and I'm not, and that was the point of the story. But either way, it's like, yeah, he got a drone for $5 8 years ago or whatever. Not hitting one, but they're very, very readily available.
Well, that helps my point. One for $5 could still get up to a tree.
So imagine what if you spend $600, $700, $800 on it. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And dude, like these, like my buddy has one that's like way more high dollar because it's used to hold that like actual, 4K camera to shoot like commercial stuff or whatever. Well, like, dude, like people are doing that all the time. There's kids with their daddy's money who are just like, I want to get a shot of all of New Jersey to use in my short film about what I'm not all, but you know what I mean? And some of them are just doing it to fuck around because frankly, having a drone as a kid rules. And then, like you said earlier, it's like that drone goes up. Some other person's like, oh my God, that's a drone. I'm going to send my drone up there to look at that drone. And then that happens exponentially. And you just got a shit ton of drones up there. Like that.
And imagine the people on the ground who didn't send a drone up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like they're all sitting there like, God damn, there's 12 drones up there.
Right.
Or whatever. And it's just 11 dudes chasing the same drone / each other or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, yes, I think me, you, and Mark all agree that's probably what it is, but it always hits for me to talk about the possibility of aliens.
But
and,
it is aliens.
This
just ain't aliens.
Sure. Like it be alien. It be aliens. But
if the aliens are so smart that they're like, let's send up some piece of shit stuff, they'll never think it was us. You know what I mean? Like, let's do this to test how they would react to all this stuff, but don't send our hit stuff. I just maintain that the aliens would be invisible because, like, we can damn near do that with fighter jets and shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like fucking, I don't know. That's all I'm saying.
So that's what you heard. Finally, after all that time, you heard what me and Cho actually believe about it. We believe what Mark did too. We just had to fuck with him along the way and also have a good time, which I feel like we did. I hope it hit for y'all, except for all the pro-Trump, pro-George Bush talk that we did. And
that was also fucking hard.
Yeah, right. We were just hitting the whole time. But anyway,
I got this for Mark for his birthday, by the way. Henry Kissinger's autobiography.
That's hilarious. I kind of wish you hadn't said that. You should just send it to him, but made a video of doing it or something. But yeah, dude, that's great. That's great. So as I mentioned it up top, I mentioned it again right now. Reminder, because the next 2 Tuesdays are Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. This is the final Skews of 2024. We will see y'all in 3 weeks in 2025. I will post on social media about it to remind everybody, but if you're on YouTube, you ain't going to see nothing. So please remember, So yeah, I'll see y'all in 2025. Speaking of which, go to TreyCrowder.com. Check out my upcoming tour dates. Come see me in Chicago this weekend, and then Washington State in January, Santa Barbara, and many other places beyond that. Go to TreyCrowder.com. Check it out. Support the show on Patreon, weeklyskews.com/more, or just go to Patreon and search for my name. Either way works. $5 a month, 2 full-length bonus episodes per month. More of this show. That's what you get. So get more of the show and support it in the process. And just keep watching. But Cho, you want to remind them real quick of anything?
Yes, absolutely. Putting on airs, obviously, but I don't really tour anymore. But if you like my humor and you want to support me, you can do that also for $5 a month over at welovecorey.com. You can see my stand-up special. You can see an actual like new fuck around set that from a couple weeks that I was working on, but also weekly podcasts, rants, all sorts of stuff. welovecorey.com. And I would greatly appreciate it because I want to send my son to college, and he ain't going to get there if it ain't by me paying on account of his mama and me both. Well, we believe in aliens.
Yes. And so watch me and Cho on Putting on Airs every week. Me and Mark will see y'all in January of 2025. We appreciate it. Enjoy the holidays.